Again everyone, welcome back to another one. A couple of days now into race week, and we've had two race days. Loads of stuff's happened, so let's get you a bit of an update on what's been going on. So welcome back in. It's 10:30 Tuesday morning, and I'm sat in my garage instead of sat up at the gooseneck watching race bikes come past me on the TT course. But you know, this rain was forecast, it was due, it's no surprise, everyone was kind of expecting that this morning. So we're all dressed up with nowhere to go at the moment. Bikes are all ready, everyone at the paddock I think is all ready. I'm sure there'll be somebody who's thankful for a little bit of extra time, but it is due to stop this afternoon, and by the time you're probably watching this, we all know what the outcome has been, and hopefully we're going to get a race in tonight, because just take a bit of pressure off the schedule for the rest of the week going forward. So yeah, let's see how we get on, but you'll know that by the time you watch this. But yes, we've had the first two race days, the first weekend, so Saturday, Sunday races, and yeah, they were interesting, weren't they? Lots going on, some fast laps, drama obviously in that Superbike race on Sunday with Michael having to stop and refit his visor, and like everyone's the race was stolen from him. Like, it wasn't stolen from him, was it? Like, nobody stole it from him. He just really unfortunate that happened. But you know, is that people assume because somebody made the error of doing the visor swap that constitutes some kind of like extra, I don't know, you know, basically if your chain had snapped, everyone accepts it, and that's happened to people. McGuinness has lost races from chain snapping. Anything else could have happened, and this is it, isn't it? It's like you can't just say this one thing happened and that made this result occur. So yeah, it's like, and everything's filmed now, isn't it? It's like there's no hide, especially on Bray Hill, there's no hiding places. So if anything happens, it's all there, and it's like, whose fault was it? Who's to blame? You know. Anyway, so yeah, like Michael will win the race this week, won't he? And in a couple of years, it'll be forgotten about, and yeah, it's just because it's fresh in the mind. And but anyway, yeah, Michael's flying. He definitely would have won that race. We all know that. But these things happen, and Michael's lost loads of races where he's been leading, especially on those patterns and things. He's had massive leads, and the things have blown up. And on his R6, I can remember happening as well in the early days. You know, Michael would be sat here with easily over 30 wins if he'd never had any mechanical or anything happen that was out of his control that's cost him a race. But like again, everyone's got a story, haven't they, about a race they lost or was stolen from them. So yeah, let's get into some of the things that have happened. So I've just got to have an initial shout out to the riders for just quality of riding. It's been superb. You know, they haven't been the best conditions on the lead up to practice and on the lead up to the races. They haven't had the most laps, and again, I've talked about this before, but people can try and like take bigger steps than they naturally would because they haven't had the time to sort of build up to things. But the quality riding's been great. There's been a few little ones, like I can't believe Patrick Hoff's crash at Schoolhouse. I don't really know what's happened there. Like, he walked away from that. That's just incredible. The Superbike race, Ryan Kringle's had a slip off at the Waterworks. It's so easily done through there. Like, can't emphasise it enough how easy it is to have a little crash through there. But you know, he's fine, so he'll be out. And if you saw Davo's crash, that was the one where initially we got the shout on the radio, and you're thinking Churchtown. It's like, oh god, it's so quick through there. Somebody had a moment through there the night before, I think, like running real wide. And like, that would have been a big one if it had come off. But yeah, Davo again, he's kind of got away with it. It's like, and I've, you know, like all I said in that video when we're talking about where crashes happen and surprises, it's like I said to before, once you separate from the bike, you're in the lap of the gods, and sometimes you'll walk away, sometimes you won't. Sometimes it can be the worst outcome possible, and yeah, Davo's got away with one there. So I don't think he's gonna be riding again this week, but you know, he will be fine. Mike 8 got his first shout, so he was at the grandstand for the Superbike race, and I forget who it was, but they had a little slip off at Quarterbridge. We've had loads of these little slip offs, haven't we? Governor's Bridge, Quarterbridge. They're the ones to have if you can have instant here. But it's like, you go into Quarterbridge, it's downhill, you're braking hard, and if you miss your braking or you have to get off the brakes for a second, it exaggerates the problem. You see it happen at the Craignavar as well. because you're going downhill, it's so hard to stop the bike. And he had an option there where he could have stood up and gone down, like the Peel Road, down towards McDonald's basically, and lost himself 30 seconds, but he tried to hang on and he's got the Recticel and gone down, and that's his race over now. But obviously, absolutely fine. But Mikey got the shout to go to it. It was one of those, by the time he got there, it had pretty much been cleaned up, so there wasn't much to do, but it must be so nice to get out of the system, get that first one done. Maybe something that a lot of you didn't realise as well is there was a big delay, wasn't there, on Saturday before the first race because of that McLaren which crashed up on the mountain, and everyone who you speak to about this is like either laughing at the guy or annoyed with the guy because he's a supercar driver who's got too much money, he's made a mistake on the mountain and he's delayed the racing for the day. And he never intended to do that, did he? Maybe he was driving above his ability, and let's not get into that. But so Mike won, so Tony, he was in Ramsey and he was going to do a pre-course inspection from Ramsey to the bungalow, to Brandywell, and then Brandywell back into the start. So what they'll tend to do for things like that is once an RTC has happened and the road's closed, if there's any compromise to the track surface, which there clearly was with this, there was the McLaren had emptied its entire guts across the road. Yeah, it's going to be swept up by the people who would normally deal with any kind of road traffic collision. But we also need to make sure that that piece of road is ready to go racing on. So this is almost like out of hours work, but Tony will go up to the mountain, speak to the guys who are doing the recovery. So he was up there while they were moving the McLaren, taking it away, and then also had to have the fence reconstructed by the farmer of that area so no livestock got on the track. And Tony oversees all that because ultimately he's going to be the one who then says, right, it's fine to go, the road's good, and we're happy to go racing. So people sometimes think that we only go to any incidents that happen during racing, but race control want to know from one of us that that road is safe. So Tony's probably up there hour and a half, 2 hours, sorting that out and helping get that ready. And then people see him come to the grandstand. I think his day's just started, but this has all happened, early in the morning. And then he got the proper shitty end of the stick, didn't he? With I think it was a sidecar, was it, or was it a solo? Spilt oil through Union Mills at the end of the day, and because he was at the grandstand, he had to go down and sort that with the sweeper. Had to keep the road closed a bit longer. So either end of that really, really long day, Tony was on the mountain for 2 hours sorting out the McLaren, and then down in Union Mills sorting out whoever spilt the oil down there. So there's those bits as well which go on top of it. And sometimes if you're caught up in something like Mike Four was with the sidecar at Bishop's Court, he's there till it's all finished. The rest of us have all come in and we're probably back at the grandstand having a coffee, and we can still hear on the radio that they're still cleaning it up. So that just depends if it happens in your sector. Happened to me last year at the Grand Prix. I was still with Kurt Michael at 10 o'clock at night while we were sorting something out. It's just, it's just part of the job. Just get on with it. Other things that happening this week. So I've been doing some work with Honda this week for some of their social media stuff, and all being well over the next 2 days, and let's see how it goes. But they're going to come round here, round to the house, and they're going to do a bit of filming about the Blade, about how we prepare them for a session, and just comparing this with the race bike. So if you've seen it, Honda do a series of episodes on YouTube called Beyond the Blade, and they'll go to pre-season testing with the BSB team. A lot of it's obviously centred around the BSB schedule, but obviously when TT comes, that's a massive focus for Honda Racing UK, so they make a few episodes here. So yeah, we're going to do some stuff here, so see how that goes. It's like an all-day filming job for a 5-minute film, but you know how those things are. But always happy to do stuff with Honda. And that pretty much wraps up all the sort of extracurricular activities we've got planned this week for any filming or media stuff. It's just about getting the racing through now and seeing where we end up at the end of the week. You can probably tell everything's a little bit subdued because the weather. And the weather affects everything at TT, and not just for us. I'm sat in my nice, warm, dry garage, but people who sat on campsites now just trying to keep things dry, and yeah, that's just horrible. Especially if you came last year and you went through that amazing weather, where even if there wasn't racing because of a delay, at least it was nice to just be anywhere. It just couldn't have been better. And this year, the weather's terrible, isn't it? But that's just it. You can't you can't predict the weather, you can't buy the weather, and if it was amazing every year, would those good years be as special? Well, probably would. But anyway, we can't do anything about the weather. We just got to get through it, and hopefully when all clears, we get some good racing. That twin race, no idea who's gonna win that. I mean, Michael's probably going to win it if he keeps going, but like if you had to try and predict a top 6 in that, it's like you've got a better chance of predicting the lottery numbers. So really looking forward to that race, and then the Stockers too. The Stockers should be good. But yeah, we'll get you an update in a couple of days, see where we're at, and any more updates from what we've been up to.